let me make one thing very clear. There has been a panic, and I hear a lot of people in India and other countries trying to rush to board a flight or to come back to US. Please do not panic. This rule only applies to new H-1B. It does not apply to if you have already an H-1B and you went to India for your stamping or renewal. This rule does not apply. Your company does not have to pay 100K for you. You can come back anytime as you have while you have a valid stamping. So please do not panic. But if you are a new H-1 holder, then the deadline was to be here before September 21st. So with that said, what does this new rule means? This new rule means that going forward, basically there are like around 420,000 applicants for H-1B every year. And out of that, 85,000 H-1s are given, 65,000 H-1 in general category and 20,000 in the master's category. And out of those 85,000, roughly around 65 to 70% H-1 goes to India or people of Indian origin, and which means that around 55 to 60,000 H-1s are given out every year. And these are given out through companies like Microsoft, Google, or small companies, hospitals, startups, and so many others. I mean, right? So now what happens going forward? As per the rule, companies willing to looking forward candidates on H-1, they will have to pay around 100,000 plus application fee, which could be from 1,000 to 2,300 to 5,000. So application fee plus 100,000 upfront when you apply for an H1. If you get an H1, then you give another 100,000 when you renew the H1 after 3 years or 6 years. But it's not 100,000 per year. I just want to clarify that's not correct. That was some, I think, slip of tongue by Commerce Secretary Lutnick. It's 100,000 one-time application fee and then 100,000 the renewal. What does that mean? I mean, so companies who want really good candidates and highly skilled labor, they will have to pay for that. And then the salaries has to be, I think they have said 100 to 150K. I think it's going to on the upper side. 150K has to be pay range. Now, let's get back to why it boiled down to this, tough actions. So there has been a systematic abuse of H-1B. We all know and agree to that staffing companies and things, they have been paying low wages of maybe 60,000, 70,000 and bringing workers who have very low skills, just some coding skills, and they do not have good communication. And they flooded the market with that kind of resources. What happens with that kind of resources coming into the market? The US citizens or kids who are born here, who went to college, who did the hard work, who paid all the fees, and they were trying for entry level jobs in big companies. Think they were not able to compete with this H-1B workers or low paying wages, and for them, so there was jobs. They were not getting jobs and they're struggling. I mean, so I think the good thing on this thing is that it will create opportunities for US citizens and US educated skilled workers. So that's a good thing. I mean, the other thing is that there's also somehow politically motivated to excite the MAGA base. President Trump has been losing on Ukraine war, on tariffs and things. Things have been not going bad. So when you turn around and say, hey, Trump fulfilled one of his promises for the campaign, which was to, redesign the whole H-1 process, stop the H-1 immigration, and create more opportunities for local US citizens, US born kids. I mean, that excites the base, but whether these people will be able to take these jobs, do they have the skills to take this job, that has to be seen. I mean, and there are plenty of other jobs which remain unfulfilled. So that's a different story. Now, what happens going forward? I mean, how does it impact? So the immediate impact is that if you just got an H-1 this year or in your lottery, and you were planning to come in September or October, you will not be able to come, because for all new H-1s, either the company has to pay 100K, and I don't think any company will be willing to pay 100K at this point of time when they are laying off lot of skills. Yeah, they may pay, with very highly skilled folks in agentic AI or generative, the whole AI platforms and things, but that has to be seen. So which means that out of this year coming 85,000 H1, they, we'll see very few people coming on board in US. And how this rule is for 1 year, and I think they wanted to evaluate how it impacts the market, how it impacts the IT companies, and then they will extend it further or think. So what would Democrats do or think? They found a creative way without having the need to go to the Congress. If they were to say, okay, fine, we want to reduce the number of H1 from 85,000 to 20,000, yeah, they would have to go to the Congress and bipartisan support and a Senate, and that would have never happened, a comprehensive immigration reform. So what they have done is changing the fees, which could be done through rule making. It's easy, and it was a creative and smart solution, but it hurts. Now what happens to the IT companies in India and over here? In India, I feel that when the companies, are for the next lot of 85,000, when they were trying to fulfill these positions, where they're bringing new H1, they have those opening, those positions already budgeted in their, in the annual planning. And when they cannot bring those people, either they have to hire them locally, so that will create a demand in the local market, or they may say that, okay, fine, we shift these positions offshore, which may then happen that all those people who were got H1 for Microsoft, Google, Amazon, etc., they may shift these positions offshore. So these guys work from offshore, which may create more jobs in the outsourcing in the Indian outsourcing market, and so that has to be, we'll be seeing that. But that's my best guess, that a lot of people will get more hired in the outsourcing in India, China, and other countries. Now, where does all this leads as a next step? I think this whole, was done with so much dramatic that it created so much panic and so much fear. I've been getting so many calls from people. Hey, I have an existing H1. I came here for my father's emergency, and then what do I do? Should I take the flight immediately? There's no flight available. I told them, look, you basically, if you're an existing H1, you don't have to worry. You can come back as long as you have valid stamp and continue doing that. So we'll talk more about it. The other important thing I wanted to mention was that there's a talk about removing, increasing EB1, EB2 category. EB1, EB2 category are for highly skilled category worker or who are on PhDs or the masters, double masters, etc. And the green card wait period is much less compared to EB3, where there's like 13 to 15 years or more. So people were trying to become, qualify for all those check boxes so that you can qualify for EB1 or EB2, and they were doing. But what I understand is that they were trying to change the whole EB1, EB2 process, and it could be that you have to pay 1 million fee to get EB1 or EB2, or $5 million fee to get the platinum Trump card. More details for that has to come yet, but all I can say is that this is America is at a point where it's changing its course of direction. And when we were fighting in the election for 2024, we clearly said that there are two different America we can envision right now. One was what President Biden, President Obama, and candidate Vice President Kamala Harris had envisioned for America, where we work together globally as well as inclusive, a more healing society. And we said that Trump's America will be divisive. He will not do good for immigration or green cards or Indian Americans. But there was a section of huge Indian American population which decisively shifted, 25 to 30% shifted from 2020 votes to Trump, and saying, oh, he's going to be very good for India, for trade, for immigration. And I'm hoping that they're all regretting right now. But the country is changing course of action, and you can't be living in the past, and you have to move forward. And the forward moving direction is that that we have to adapt to this, what is coming. I mean, there's always more elections, there's always more choices where people can come and vote and elect the candidate they feel who's right for the next generation. But till now, I think we have to go with the, understand where the country is headed. And there is protectionism coming in, where you have to make in America, create jobs for Americans, America first, and that's nothing wrong in it. I mean, this is also the same thing which is going on around, have been going on in India, make in India first, and manufacture in India, and something in China they have been doing for a long time, and other countries. And so it's important to make a balance